Raptors star Pascal Siakam is really getting back into his all-NBA level of play, and it's giving new head coach Darko Rajakovic a major decision to make because he just hasn't been using the forward to his max capability this season, and I'm going to explain why. Let's get into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to Amateur Hour Sports, the YouTube channel that is completely dedicated to providing you with Toronto Raptors content, whether it be in videos like this, watch parties for Raptors games, and even added YouTube shorts. All Raptors all the time on the channel, so make sure you have subscribed and you're helping me on the road to 16,000 subs. And remember to smash that like button on this video. Help us get to 200 likes in the video. It really does make a difference on the channel. Only takes a second out of your day. Pascal Siakam has been on a tear in the recent week of NBA basketball for the Raptors, and there's a sharp contrast and change into the way the Raptors are actually using him, which is making a massive difference. Now, in these last three games, we've had the games against the Dallas Mavericks, the Boston Celtics, which was a blowout that didn't really showcase much, and the Wizards game, which honestly looked like it was going to be a blowout until Pascal Siakam completely took over, specifically the third quarter, but pretty much the entire second half, to will the Raptors back into this game when nobody else had the desire or will to even try. He forced his team back into the game and eventually hit the game-winning shot with about 7 seconds remaining to put the Raptors up 2 in the eventual 111-107 win. The Raptors were down by 23 points in this game. It's not the first time this season that they've had to make a 20-point comeback, and sometimes, look, you're not going to be down by 20 points to the San Antonio Spurs or the Washington Wizards. You're going to be down by 20-plus points to a team like the Boston Celtics, where your poor start and perhaps not so good game plan, that's too much of a hole for yourself to dig out, and you end up getting completely blown out. Now, in this game, the Raptors once again had the opportunity at halftime to make the necessary adjustments. That is exactly what Darko Rajakovic did, and the adjustment in this one was to finally give Pascal some possessions down low. The Raptors in this game were once again thwarted offensively by a defensive scheme deployed by a not-so-great defensive team in this case, really sitting back, really locking down the paint and forcing the Raptors to take on three-point opportunities. Like the Boston Celtics completely leaned into this. They played a zone defense the entire game. They said, if you're going to win this game, you're going to have to shoot for it. The Wizards try to do basically the same thing, but the Raptors just basically could not shoot. The Raptors went 4 of 21 from 3 in this game, so it became a case of, listen, the threes are not going to fall. We have to bully our way on the inside and find the schemes that are going to get these looks on the interior. So in the second half, we finally started running plays for Pascal Siakam, and he absolutely devoured them up, going for 39 points in this one with an amazing third quarter. And it's for the second time in 3 games that we decided to make our game plan and our scheme dedicated to Siakam. The difference was in the Dallas Mavericks game. The Dallas Mavericks coming into that game had only 1 loss in the season. They've been incredible this season. Though their defense hasn't been great, the Raptors were picking on the fact that the Dallas Mavericks did not have a suitable defensive matchup to play against Pascal Siakam. So what did the Raptors do? They force-fed him. They spammed him in the post. They spammed him on inside passes. And Siakam is so good that either he's going to beat his man one-on-one and finish at the rim most of the time, or he's going to read the double exceptionally well, kick out to a player who's wide open, and we can start to move around the defense and generate good looks out of that. Like, he's so good at passing out of double teams. He is so good at finishing in one-on-one scenarios inside, yet Darko Rajakovic almost outright refuses to use that play. Like, the first half against the Wizards was an absolute abomination of basketball for the Raptors. They were down by 19 points at halftime, 64-45 at the half. Can you guess how many post-up opportunities the Raptors ran for Pascal Siakam in that entire first half when they struggled so mightily to score? They only had 2 threes at halftime. How many times did they give Pascal Siakam a post-up opportunity? Just one. Just one that I counted, at least while I was watching the game, and it just was so apparent that the Wizards, who are not a great defensive team, have no suitable matchup for Siakam, so why not lean into your all-star talent? Why not lean into your all-NBA level of talent? And we had to start leaning into Siakam this week in the Dallas game and in the second half of this game because Scottie Barnes' jump shot has kind of started to fall back down to earth. He's not shooting the insanely efficient, like 66% from jump shots. So I would also like to see Scottie Barnes have some plays drawn up for him on the inside as well. But in particular, the star man on this team remains to be Pascal Siakam in terms of ability, in terms of talent. This guy completely lifted us out of a hole and got us to win against the Wizards. Now, you're going to talk about the Celtics game perhaps in a bit of a rebuttal to me. That game was just disgusting basketball by the Raptors, and the Celtics are good enough that even if Siakam has a ball down low, it's not just going to be the case, going to beat a guy. They have the matchups down there. That made it incredibly difficult, not for Siakam, but for the entire Raptors team. Like, they went zone for 48 minutes, basically, and the Raptors could not do anything about it. That's an alarming trait of this team. We don't have floor spacing. We don't have three-point shooters. Even with OG Gary Trent out, I understand that against the Wizards. This team can't space the floor. Teams are cluing in. They are just locking down the paint as best as possible. So it's time for Darko Rajakovic to make this big decision about the team and for Pascal Siakam's future. Clearly, this team is pretty good when Siakam has the ball down low. Siakam is very good when he has the ball down low, as I mentioned, for the reasons previously. This team can be successful when you're going a little bit more isolation with the likes of Siakam, and also as well, like I said, give Scottie Barnes these opportunities and these looks as well. Give Pascal Siakam driving opportunities. Start to lean into his talent. Like, even if you want Siakam traded, like, you want to see Pascal Siakam be utilized to upgrade his trade value. And if you want the Raptors to win, well, they're winning when Siakam has the ball. They're winning when Siakam is creating things. They're winning when Siakam sometimes, the bad word here, they're winning when in a lot of situations Pascal Siakam gets a little bit selfish. But Darko wants to play this almost perfect brand of 0.5 basketball. Masai Ujiri is urging that this team needs to get away from this selfish approach to the game. Well, like, I've seen a lot of the unselfish play this year. I want this team to be a little bit more selfish, and that starts with Pascal Siakam. I want to see him get those opportunities and those looks on the inside. And you know what? Sometimes Siakam forcing a shot on the inside is better than kicking out to somebody who's not been hitting their three-pointers all season. So I don't mind that in any way whatsoever. Siakam is good enough that he's able to make these shots. Like, we knew he'd start to come around when the opportunities came to him. Darko was kind of understanding that, okay, if we're going to win basketball games, we need to lean on this guy a little bit more. So I have the understanding here of Darko's approach to this. Like, he wants to change the approach the Raptors take to games. He wants to play this beautiful brand of perfect 0.5 passing basketball, but the spacing and the tools just aren't really here for the coach to execute that. So you could have the discussion, he wants to develop these guys. He wants them to play the right way so that down the line, we're more accustomed to this. Down the line, Scottie Barnes is completely entrenched in this offensive scheme that Darko Rajakovic has created within the team. And yes, that makes sense. But this is not a tanking team. We're not a development team right now. We are a team that has no first-round pick really to fall back on this season. The pick is top 6 protected that we sent over to the San Antonio Spurs. We're too good for that top 6 protection to likely come into play. So, is the point of this season to be developmental, to get these guys playing this specific way? Like, I want to play this way, I do, but you also have to remember, this team has been put out there on the court this season to be competitive, to win basketball games. And it's clear that especially when the offense is struggling, the best play is simply to give the ball to Siakam and let him cook. And when you let him cook, it's not like he's just scoring. He's still going to generate like 7, 8, sometimes even more assists per game, 5, 6 rebounds per game, and go above 20 points, and doing so pretty efficiently. Now, Siakam can't hit a 3 to save his life right now, but the inside game has been tip-top for the Raptors in this recent stretch of games, and it was fully on display for the Wizards. So, Darko needs to make a decision. Is he putting a team out there to win basketball games, or is he putting a team out there to develop for the future? Based on the notion we've had from the front office, based on the fact we don't have that first-round pick, this team should be out there to win. So I credit Darko. He wants to try and win the right way with his way of playing basketball, but there has to be a bigger recognition of the parts on this team as well, so that when he notices that's not going well, which he did at halftime against the Wizards, he deviates and goes to, okay, we know Siakam's going to work, but how about we try winning this way? That's the balance that we're trying to get right now, but clearly this team succeeds with Siakam having the ball in his hands, so I want to see us lean into that a little bit more. I'm not saying 48 straight minutes of Siakam post-ups, But when you're down by 20 points to the Wizards at halftime, and you've only run one post-up set for Siakam, I think we can start to sprinkle that a little bit more and add that to a consistent play into this offense. We're figuring it out. Darko's only 10 games into his first season as an NBA head coach. He's going to figure it out, but this is a clear way the Raptors can start to generate better offensive sets and therefore more wins. It's about Pascal Siakam getting him involved. And even if you want him traded, hey, this is only going to boost his stock with teams seeing him put up nights like this. 39 points against the Washington Wizards with above 60% shooting from the field. What do you guys make of Pascal Siakam, and what do you make of Darko Rajakovic's schemes? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, because that's all for me today. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content, and I'll see you again next time for another video, or tomorrow for our Raptors watch party against the Bucks.